Okay, we've got the thumb. We can start. All right, so I am going to call the Development Corporation meeting to order. We're going to do that first because we're going to be having an executive session in our IDA meeting. We will be getting our audit report during the TCDC meeting, and I'm going to ask if our public speakers would be willing to wait until we start the IDA meeting before we take your comments. So I gather that our privilege of the floor folks are here for the IDA, so we have no privilege of the floor for the Development Corporation. I have no additions to the agenda. Do you, Kelly?
Not for the Development Corp. No, I don't.
Okay. So we'll move on to our business, which today is the audit report. Where did Evan get? There he is. You can have the seat of honor.
And we have Evan Cleveland, partner at Insero and Company, to present the annual audit.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me here this afternoon. Again, I'm Evan Cleveland, audit partner with Insero and Company CPAs, here to present the audit for the Tompkins County IDA and Tompkins County Development Corporation. Going to cover a few pages of the executive summary, which should be within your packets. We did go through the audit report and all of the letters and everything with the audit committee in detail, and I'm here to just give you a high-level overview of the audit results. So on page 1 of the executive summary, we're issuing an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. It's a technical term for a clean opinion, the best opinion you can get. It means your assets, liabilities, net position, revenues, and expenses are all fairly stated in all material respects. We also issue a report on internal control over financial reporting in accordance with government auditing standards. Again, unmodified opinion, no audit issues or findings associated with that letter. And then finally, we issue a report on investment practices in accordance with public authorities law, and that had no issues noted. The next page, we issued a management comment letter, just had a few observations of note. I won't turn specifically to the letter itself, but it was just documenting job functions and responsibilities, and then possibly exploring financial accounting and reporting software. Additionally, through our pre-audit meeting with the audit committee, it's requested that we take a deeper dive into the interactions between the IDA and the county. So we did, and they have noted in here that we had no issues associated with those processes. The next page, we're required to communicate with those charged with governance at the conclusion of the audit. We do so through a specific letter. That letter has no comments of concern regarding any of these bulleted items listed. Finally, I was going to cover just a little bit of the financial activity for the current year. So assets for the IDA and Development Corp combined were $1.9 million. The majority of that being cash and cash equivalents of $1.7 million. And the other side to that was a total net position of $1.9 million. Overall, the audit went very well. We greatly appreciate all the efforts of Ina and Kelly, as well as Daryl at the county. Very positive audit report. I'll open it up to any questions associated with the audit or the audit report itself.
I think if somebody has a question, Evan, they'll just shout out. So just go ahead.
Are you done with your, I'm sorry, are you done?
Yep, I'm all set.
Okay. So just a few things to add. So Ina, can you remind us, we do have some items that still need to be completed for the final report. So just as a reminder for the board, we do need to, although there's some missing items there, we do need to report or approve it today because Ina needs to upload it to Paris by March 31st. So
that is correct.
We will be voting on this subject to a few small changes there. Evan did mention that he reported to the Audit and Finance Committee. We have reviewed this and we have approved it through that committee. And we did go in depth in terms of the two management comments, and we have put it to Kelly and Daryl to review them and report back to the Audit and Finance Committee at a later date.
Yes.
So you will all see that Ina thoughtfully made a larger copy of this report, and there are 3 projects for which we are missing some information for the Paris report.
That is correct. What this is a schedule of the active projects. Currently, whether they're under construction or under a pilot, it talks about their exemption period and then what kind of incentives that they're receiving, whether it's a sales tax, mortgage recording tax exemption, or a pilot or reduction in property taxes. We also asked them to report on the full-time equivalent jobs at the end of the year because the state is very interested in that. And as you see highlighted in blue, we have 3 projects that are still outstanding. I have communicated directly with 2 of them who have promised me to send me the information soon, so I'm hopeful. But overall, this is a good response this year, a very good response. So once we receive those or they're resolved, it will be considered complete. I'll let Evan know, and once you approve it, we'll get a final document.
Yes.
Thank you, Ina. And thank you, Jeff. I'm so glad that you're chairing the audit committee and not me.
So do we have any final questions for Evan from the board? If not, I'll make a motion to approve the audit, the financial statements as presented, except for the few minor exceptions that we still are waiting for. So therefore, we can get this, or Ina can get this uploaded to Paris by March 31st.
Can I get a second? Thank you, Jerry.
I will second.
All right. Any questions, anything to address about this motion? In that case, all in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. All right. Well, that was the main
Thanks, Evan.
Thank you.
Thanks,
piece
Evan.
of that
Appreciate it.
meeting. Yeah, you're free.
We need to have that as well.
Okay. Now
Deborah,
that's-
we need to add just one more thing to that. If we could get a separate motion authorizing Ina to input the data into Paris, the Public Authority Reporting Information System, as required by the ABO, the Authority Budget Office. So if we could
All
get a-
right. Can I get a motion to that effect?
I'll move.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. See this for a second. All right, so what do we have left? So that's the audit data Paris input authorization done. Chair's report. I don't really have a chair's report. We discussed the financial situation of the Development Corporation last month. Staff report.
I have no staff report for the Development Corp right now.
All right, then it's minutes approval. Who could move the minutes? Shauna, thank you. Can I get a second? From Duck, thank you. Any discussion or concerns? All in favor?
I have to abstain, I wasn't there. I mean, I zoomed in,
I think you can vote,
can-
can you?
Technically, you
Yeah,
vote, yeah.
all right, that's unanimous, thank you.
You don't want to leave that.
All right then, I think the TCDC meeting is adjourned, and we can move on to opening the IDA board meeting. We have 2 speakers on privilege of the floor. First is Zach Wynn.
Good afternoon. In light of recent events, I had planned on coming down here and asking you all to reconsider the pilot agreement with Vecino for Asteri. And before the meeting started, I was informed by Deb that last week the IDA sent a letter to Vecino outlining that they were in violation of their pilot agreement, and they have 30 days to get their building in the correct order. Otherwise, there will be some sort of revocation of that pilot agreement. I think that's very positive. You know, I live downtown, and going back and forth to work for the past couple of years, I watched the building go up. I knew something bad was going to happen, and then everything that everyone expected to happen happened. And it isn't just a matter of tax money and public money going to EMTs and cops and firefighters and everything. There's like a human cost to what went on in that building. I've been asking how many people have died since it opened inside that building, how many bodies have been held out of there. There were 39 homeless individuals moved in the initial push. How many of those people are still alive? And, you know, you could probably figure out how much it's cost for all the public response to that building and how much has been put in millions in tax abatements and grant funding and so on and so forth. But you can't really put a dollar figure on the human cost. And there's also the fact that, you know, downtown is suffering because what's been going on over there. So I'm glad you folks, you know, were finally able to act. It's unfortunate it had to advance to this stage. And, you know, it was a bad idea to begin with. And hopefully the next time something that sounds good on paper is proposed, I'm sure there were people who spoke out at the time. I've been meaning to look back, but just going forward, just please limit these pilot agreements to when it would be absolutely necessary and guaranteed to benefit the community, because this is the complete opposite. You've done damage. Not you individually, you're not, I'm not pointing the finger, but that's the result. The purpose of a system is what it does. So thank you very much, and I'm glad you decided to act. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Next, we have Amanda Kirschgessner.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking on 2 items today: the proposed pilot transfer for Ithaca Tech Park and the sales tax recapture related to the VISM project. First, the Ithaca Tech Park pilot transfer. The original pilot was justified to support the job growth tied to Binoptics and later Maycom. That growth never materialized, probably because of poor planning and the lack of infrastructure necessary to support their expansion, which makes me question the veracity of what's happening here to begin with. The economic development rationale that justified the abatement has materially changed. Today, the property is owned by regional banks, small consortium, and they are seeking to inherit an abatement that was designed for a different company at a different time. So today, so under the pilot, Brown Road will receive roughly $14,500 a year in tax savings, about $72,500 through the remaining of the term. If the ownership group has $10,000 available to pay for the transfer fee, it's hard to argue they cannot pay roughly $75,000 in property taxes over the next 5 years. Quite frankly, the county and the school district need this money far more than the IDA needs a $10,000 transfer fee. And just put this out there, if they can afford $10,000 for the transfer fee, they can absolutely afford $10,000 for the application fee to apply for a new abatement through the normal process. If there is a benefit, let's hear it. And if the abatement is justified, they should submit this new application and articulate the new benefit and go through the full process. The transparency is what's important. Secondly, regarding VISM sales tax, the credibility of this agency depends on enforcing the agreements it makes. Sales tax exemptions are granted with clear limits and conditions. When those limits are exceeded, recapture is not punitive. It's simply enforcement. Allowing companies to keep improperly claimed tax exemptions undermines public trust and fairness for every other business that follows the rules. Again, I know it's only about $25,000. We need that money. We need it. I strongly support the agency fully pursuing recapture of any improperly claimed sales tax benefits in this case. And if clawback is possible here, I would strongly encourage the board to take a closer look at the 2021 sale and transfer of the city center building, where the original developer realized roughly $25 million in gains while the transfer of benefits occurred without an accessible public hearing. It was COVID. Let's take another look at it. That's a couple $1 million that could absolutely come back into the county and school district budget, which would go a long way right now. Economic development incentives only work when they're applied consistently and when accountability applies to everyone. I'm going to thank you for your time, and I also want to let you know that I have a friend working inside the conference center, and they have yet to figure out who's actually running the show. So on top of Vicino having really poor maintenance of their residential structure, a friend within the conference center can't figure out if anybody in there actually knows what they're doing. So God bless us all. I mean, good luck. I'm praying for all of us every night, because if we can't do it, if we can't figure it out here in Tompkins County, where we actually have wealth, land, farmers. Thank you, Kelly, but claw back. Let's do it. Let's get that money.
Thank you, Amanda. Okay, so moving forward, as to additions to the agenda, I will be asking for a motion to enter into an executive session to discuss, 1, the financial and credit history of a particular person or corporation, and 2, a potential litigation strategy against a particular entity. So stay tuned for that excitement. Now,
I also have one thing to remove from the agenda for this month, which is the pilot transfer request from Ithaca Tech Park LLC. That will likely be put on the April agenda as we did not receive the requested information for the board. Yes, and that's it.
all right, thank you. So let's move on to the Visium sales tax exemption recapture, which I understand they're voluntarily giving us the money.
Yes, yes. So Rob Martinowski, the head of operations for Visium, which was formerly Lit Thinking, they received a sales tax incentive in February 2025, which was not to exceed $98,000. And due to the acceleration of their project, they did end up exceeding that amount by $26,388.80. Rob was notified, and they advised that they would make that overage payment within 30 days. In fact, he is in town today and said that he would be dropping the check off to our office. So he was great about the entire situation, understood that he was required to make that payment, and there was no issue with that.
Are we expecting that they may come back and ask for an additional exemption?
Yes. So on next month's agenda, most likely we will have an increase in that incentive request coming from Rob and his team. The project is growing exponentially, and they will be looking for an increase just in the sales tax again. And he may or may not be able to be in person for that one. He was hoping to be here today and have it on the agenda, but we didn't receive the information in time. So just be ready for that request.
And I do appreciate the fact that he's doing this all the right way.
Yes, he really is. He was great about it. We had a conversation with Stephen Meyer from Harris Beach Murtha, and we got off the phone and he's like, that's the best recapture conversation I've ever had. So that was really positive. So we just wanted to make you aware of that. We'll send out a notice once we officially receive that payment, and that's that. So
Thank you, Kelly.
you're welcome.
Okay, and it's my understanding now that we also need an authorization from the IDA board to have INA start entering the Paris information. Is that correct?
Yes, since we did it in the Development Corp,
But that was
yeah,
for
we'll
the
need it
Development Corp, so
the
we're
IDA
going to
as
do
well.
it again.
Yep, so we will need a motion to authorize INA to input that data into Paris as required by the ABO.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Jerry. Can I get a second? Oh, thank you, Prentice. All right, any discussion? Ready to vote? Okay, all in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you very much.
Do we
Now,
also need to approve the audit for the IDA or not, because they were the same? Technically? Okay.
yeah, we probably should just, yeah. All right, can I get a motion for that, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the audit for the IDA, except for the small changes that need to be made, so INA can input it by March 31st.
Thank you.
And I will second that.
Thanks, Jerry. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you, that's unanimous. You guys are easy today. All right, for the chair's report, as Zach alluded to, we have sent a notice of default to Vicino on the pilot, and I want to make a short statement for the benefit of the public. I know people have asked us repeatedly to do something about Vicino. Given the language in the pilot agreements, we couldn't do anything about that pilot unless and until there was a violation of some law, regulation, or code by Vecino in its management of the building. I guess the silver lining to the city's notice to vacate is that we know now that there are violations. And that prompted us to take action, and I want to thank Kelly and Russ for getting on that quickly. We have had to give them 30 days to remedy, but we'll talk about how that's going to move forward at a different time. Right now, I just want the public to know that we're on this, and we're doing all that we can. So thank you. Russ, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add is for the public's benefit, and it's not a legal issue, well, it kind of is, but is that this board did not sit idly by. It's been talked about, and our recommendation, we couldn't move forward for the default until we had the facts as to what the code violations are. And all of our deals and documents, we require applicants to comply with all applicable law and local ordinances. And we just didn't have the exact violations to trigger us to send that letter, which is now out.
Thank you. Does anybody have any comments on this? Seeing none, we'll move on to the staff report. Kelly.
I actually don't have a staff report. Everything has kind of been consumed with these couple of topics that we've covered today. And considering our last meeting was a week and a half ago, I think I covered it all then. So more to come in April.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that moves us on to minutes approval. Can I get a motion on the minutes, please? Duck moves. Prentice seconds. Thank you. Any discussion or concern? I guess we're ready to vote. All in favor? Thank you. That's unanimous. And now I would like to entertain a motion to enter into executive session to discuss the financial and credit history of a particular person or corporation and potential litigation with regard to a potential defendant, I guess. So.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I need someone to actually make the motion.
Oh, I thought you were moving.
No, I'm asking for a motion. I guess, all right. So Jerry moves, Shauna seconds. We'll give folks a chance to leave, and then we'll start our executive session. I am inviting IAED Director Kurt Foreman to stay for this executive session.